everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ashlyn, and I'll be facilitating today's session on Experiential Science outside of the classroom as a part of Ryerson's virtual open house, which is taking place all of this week from September 21st to the 25th. There are many sessions taking place throughout the week, so we encourage you to visit our website to register for all of those that are of interest to you. To start, I'd like to let you know that Ryerson has shifted to an essential services model to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. We have put together a series of virtual sessions in order to share information and connect with you. Ryerson is working diligently to provide students with fulsome experiences while maintaining the health and safety of our community. Before we get started, I'd like to begin with some housekeeping tips for Zoom. We encourage you to ask questions throughout this presentation. We have lots of faculty and staff members on the back end ready to answer all of your questions. So to do that, hover over the bottom of your Zoom window where you'll see a Q&A button. You can click that, a window will open, and you will be able to fill in all of the questions you have right there throughout the presentation. If you are having any audio or video difficulties, that is also where you're going to put those in so that one of our staff members can reach you and help you troubleshoot the issue. You can actually rearrange the screen any which way you'd like. It's not going to affect the way we see it on our end or the way other viewers see it in their own homes. So feel free to toggle the screen any which way makes you feel the most comfortable. This presentation will have closed captioning to ensure accessibility. If you require closed captioning, please select the option at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Also, please note that recordings to all virtual open house sessions will be available on our website later in October. So let's get started with the poll. We always like to know who we are speaking to. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold on the poll because I feel like we're going to actually talk about that throughout our presentation today. I'm going to jump right to the land acknowledgement, which is something that we do here at Ryerson before all of our major events. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, the Mississaugas, and the Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory to protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. We have a great panel for you today. I'm going to now introduce Salwa from our science department to start the session off. Hi, Salwa, how are you?
Hi, Ashlyn. Thanks so much for getting us started. And hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Salwa Save, and I am the Recruitment and International Engagement Officer in the Faculty of Science. I have 4 students with me today, and we're really excited to share their experiences. And I just wanted to give you an idea of what we're going to cover today. Our focus today is going to be on gaining experience outside of the classroom. We all know that your courses and your labs in science form the foundation of your education, but there's so much more out there that you can be involved with that can truly enrich your education. Things like student groups and organizations, volunteering in your community, research experience, co-op options, international exchanges, and other opportunities. So before we get started and before we introduce our panelists, I'm just going to launch a poll. If you can just tell me sort of what best describes you. We always like to find out who is on these webinars with us. I'll just give you a couple seconds for that. Okay. And then I think most of you have answered. I think we have mostly high school students today, so thank you for joining us. And then just another question that we'd also like to ask is which one of our programs are you most interested in as well? Okay. Awesome. So without further ado, I'll get started and we'll introduce our panelists today. Okay. Sorry. Okay, Colleen, go ahead.
sorry, I'm on mute. Hi, everyone. My name is Colleen. My hometown, I'm from Brampton, Ontario. Although for the school year, I'm going to be right across from Ryerson, here in downtown Toronto. I'm majoring in biomedical sciences. I'm actually just finishing up my 5th and final year here at Ryerson. And I'm also pursuing minors in psychology and criminology.
Perfect. Thanks, Colleen. Okay. Okay, Debra.
Hi everyone, I'm Debra, and I'm currently in my 5th year of the computer science program, and I'm doing I did the co-op option, and hometown, yeah. So I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, but then I moved to Toronto when I was 8, and I've been living there ever since then. Yeah, and my high school is St. Basil the Great College School.
Great, thanks, Debra. Okay, Elene.
Hi everyone, my name is Elene and my hometown is Toronto, Ontario, and I'm a 4th year student in biomedical science, and my high school was SATEC at W.A. Porter Collegiate Institute.
Great, and last but not least, Clyde.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaidi. I'm a 4th year biomedical sciences student here at Ryerson. I'm an international student here, so my hometown is out of the country. So it's in Edbasan in Albania, and I attended Daskaltodri High School. For the moment, I'm minoring in psychology, and I'm also working on my thesis under the supervision of Dr. Tran.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we're hoping to have sort of an informal conversation with all of these students today. And we're going to be talking about gaining experience outside of the classroom, or what we like to refer to as experiential learning. At Ryerson, we pride ourselves on this. We always want to make sure that the knowledge you're gaining in the classroom is going to be applied elsewhere, whether that be through volunteer work or research or the working world. So we're here to discuss this today. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen just for a second. I'm going to, I guess, Colleen, we can start with you. Why did you choose Ryerson?
I would say that I chose to come to Ryerson for a variety of reasons. So including, the great curriculum, it has a great curriculum for biomedical sciences, but also I would think it was closer to home and more affordable for me. But I would say that over my 4 years here, I'm so lucky to have been taught by great faculty. I've completely fallen in love with the campus and Toronto. Especially as someone who couldn't see themselves living in a big city. I'm sure you could have guessed, since I've moved back here, even though we're in a virtual world right now. And so I would say that Ryerson has definitely given me, a solid foundation in the sciences, but it's also given me the opportunity to connect with resources. And so it's also given me the opportunity to work with diverse student bodies. So I'm very glad that I made the decision to pursue my passion for the sciences here at Ryerson.
Okay, great. Thank you. Debra, what would you say is the favorite thing about your program?
A favorite thing about my program, I would say the fact that there's a lot of opportunity for hands-on learning. So in computer science, we have a lot of labs, and we do many projects, especially as you go further down, 3rd year, 4th year. So I really like that. And also I like the fact that Ryerson also has the co-op option. And I think that's kind of what drew me to even being a part of the university. It was kind of part of my decision. Yeah, so I would say those 2 things.
Okay, great. Clyde, how would you explain your transition from high school to university?
I mean, personally, I feel like my transition was hard because I'm an international student here, so I had to leave like all of my life behind, my family, my friends, and everything, and start fresh. So I would say it was hard at first because I didn't know anyone and I didn't have any friends at first, and I also had like that cultural shock and that language barrier. But what I would suggest is that everyone is in the same boat as you are. So not a lot of people have any friends in their program. So feel free to even just talk or have like a small chat during your lectures with your peers. And maybe you'll meet great people like I've met. I consider that I've made lots of friends here. And I consider some of them as my best friends. So yeah, I would say reach out to people and don't be shy to talk because everyone is in the same boat as you are.
Okay, and then this is a question for all of you, and Elene, we'll start with you. What do you wish you knew about Ryerson when you were applying that you know now?
So I'll have to kind of add on to what Gerline said. The professors are amazing. The faculty has such knowledge and they're always trying to go out and help you. And one thing that I really learned over these 4 years is just the kind of amazing community that Ryerson has. You know, as a first year, when you're just first coming to campus, you have to like just judge based on the looks, right? Even Frosh Week, it's hard to tell, right? But the community was really nice in Frosh Week as well. But I feel like once you go through these 4 years, you really learn that Ryerson's a really tight-knit community. And the more you join, the more you get experience outside of the classroom, you really realize that that's what Ryerson is for, you know? The community was so amazing. And if I knew that in first year, I probably wouldn't have waited so long to apply, right? Because it would have really helped my decision coming to Ryerson.
Okay, great. And Gerline, same question. What do you wish you knew about Ryerson when applying that you know now?
So just to add on to what Elene said, like I wish I had known that there's so many amazing professors, the faculty, the resources that are ready to just help you. And I definitely think because the program is also smaller, it really did make a world of a difference for me when it comes to making friends in your classes and getting in touch with your professors. And so if I had just known like the tight-knit community that Ryerson has and, you know, the willingness to help through a diverse like range of resources, especially the diversity here. I think in the student body, I would have immediately chose Ryerson and it would have made my decision like much more immediate. So.
Okay, great. Debra, same question?
Yeah, I think kind of adding on to what Gerline mentioned, I agree with like the diversity aspect. Um, because like coming into Ryerson, I think for me, what kind of drew me in was like the atmosphere, like how it's like in the city, and I don't know, at that time I was just like really in love with the city, and also the fact that there's a co-op program. But like I think the fact that the school is like so diverse, and like I made a lot of friends with like in various different nationalities, and I think that really like adds perspective as to like how I view life now. And also I think also like the academic services, I kind of wish I knew about that too, because Ryerson like has the student learning center, like the main popular building that everybody always wants to see. On the fourth floor there's the where the services mainly are, and they're like they have all sorts of things like academic support, essay writing, and like even essay writing helped me a lot as I worked on like my biology, like did stuff assignments for my biology class. So yeah, I wish those are the two main things that I wish I knew before, like prior to now that I know now.
Okay, great. And finally, Clyde, same question.
So I'm sort of going to add to what everyone else said. So the professors are amazing and they're always willing to help. So if you're having difficulties with the transition to your university life, they're always there to give you tips and also to help you if you're having personal issues. And there are also lots of resources that can help you. And as Deborah said, on the fourth floor of the SLC, there are various workshops, or you can even book one-to-one appointments if you need help, like with essay writings, or even I think there are workshops related to math as well. So yeah, there are various resources, and I wish I knew all of them before I came to Ryerson. So
Okay, great, thank you. Um, so now we're gonna kind of move into more questions about experience outside of the classroom. So I'll ask each of you the same question. What activities, clubs, or student groups have you been a part of at Ryerson? And also, what activities and opportunities have you been a part of outside of Ryerson? So Gerline, did you want to start?
Yep. So I've had the opportunity to be a part of many amazing student groups and complete volunteer work with many great organizations, both at Ryerson and outside of Ryerson. So I've worked with organizations that want to empower youth and people in STEM, like Health Out Loud, Let's Talk Science through Sci Exchange. I've had the opportunity to work with groups that focus on, supporting first-year students. So through mentorship, and then I've worked with Science Orientation Committee that really, help students transition, first-year science students transition into the university. Outside of Ryerson, I would say the highlight or the most recent opportunity I had was to work through the pandemic actually at my local hospital in Brampton. So I joined the efforts right from the start in March, and I worked with amazing health professionals in different areas in the hospital, like patient experience and health equity. And I really got to design policies and protocols that, from scratch that weren't, that didn't exist. And I gained such valuable skills, made such great connections, and really worked with clinical staff and families and patients. And it was so valuable. And I think, the skills that definitely getting involved at Ryerson first with different student groups really helped me develop those skills, get into these sort of, minutiae outside of Ryerson. So yeah, I think it's super important to get involved, and it's been great being involved as well.
Great, thank you. Debra, same question. What activities have you been involved with as part of Ryerson and outside of Ryerson?
Yeah, within Ryerson, I've also been gotten the opportunity to be part of various student groups and clubs as well. In Ryerson, I've been all throughout my years there, I've been involved with the Women in Computer Science student group, which really focuses on kind of providing support for women within computer science, and just helping them to stay in the program and just feel supported throughout their time there. And also find ways to kind of advance themselves through the events that we ran. And in that, we also ran the student ambassador program, where we kind of mentored high schools in high school, running coding workshops, robotics workshops for them in collaboration with Sci Exchange, which is another group or I would say kind of an organization within Ryerson. And also within science, I think there are a lot of opportunities to get involved. So one that I did was organizing the Beyond the BSc conference, which is just kind of explaining what kinds of things can you do when you're done with your Bachelor of Science degree. So that was really fun. And even the science formal committee actually organizing kind of a semi-formal that happens every year, where we just bring together science students just to celebrate the end of the year, and through being in these groups, it's really allowed me to connect with a lot of people within the program, within my program, even outside my program. Taught me a lot of skills, interpersonal skills, time management, balancing it along with your schoolwork. It might be tough, and it was tough for me, to be honest, but it was definitely worth it, because I think if I didn't do that, a lot of who I am now wouldn't be, and a lot of skills I developed wouldn't exist. And outside Ryerson, so I think through being part of these groups, I really got out of my comfort zone, and I was okay, you know what, why not try out doing things outside, and seeing how I can help in other areas. So for me, stuff around like bringing more women into tech or even in STEM is something close to my heart and something I'm passionate about. So I ended up like getting involved with this organization called Rewriting the Code that really supports women who are looking to get into tech and providing like resources for them. And I got the chance to like mentor second year students. And another one was like STEM Hub, which is more focused on like minorities in tech. So specifically, or like youths who are like minorities, visible minorities. And there, like I was doing like stuff around like website administration and then running workshops for young girls. So yeah, so like doing all of this, I think it's been fun because then you can just find a way to like find stuff that you're passionate about, but then like yeah, it might be overwhelming and like it's hard, it might be a bit tough to manage your time at the beginning, but knowing that you're doing something that you enjoy is like a way to kind of escape all the stress of school and stuff and just to meet new people and like gain new skills for the most part. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Elene, same question. Activities involved with in Ryerson and outside of Ryerson.
So like Colleen and Debra, Ryerson has a lot of student groups that are science related and non-science related. So for me, I did volunteer with Sci-Exchange where we delivered workshops to elementary school students. And I'm currently volunteering with IHI at Ryerson, which is based on spreading awareness about healthcare. So for me, I was a content writer, and with the pandemic and everything, and IHI and both Sci-Exchange kind of helped me realize my passion for science communication. And because we're science students, and there's like a bridge between a closed bridge between the public and science. So those two student groups actually made me realize my passion for that and how important it is to make science accessible to the public and to make all those fancy words and break them down into something that the public can use. So those were really amazing Ryerson student groups that I joined. And outside of that, Ryerson's actually in a really amazing place in the heart of downtown where there's a lot of hospitals and that you can get involved in. So I actually got involved with Toronto Grace Health Center, which is where patients with palliative care come. And I had the opportunity to work with the health administration sector where we worked on medical records, and I learned all sorts of things about confidentiality that comes with medicine. And it was like amazing, another amazing opportunity, to learn about all the careers out there that are in science. So health administration is also something that I never would have thought about if I didn't, reach out to the hospitals around Ryerson. So I remember because of its proximity, I actually used to go there after class to volunteer. So that's why the positioning of Ryerson is really amazing, especially if you want to get involved in the hospitals around downtown. And another thing that I really would that really helped me was actually Volunteer Toronto. And outside of Ryerson, that is like a website that has all these volunteer experiences that you can search. And because of Ryerson's location, hopefully once the pandemic is over, you can go and volunteer at these amazing places right outside of class, right? So I was actually a receptionist as well. And I did all of these things because I could, it was within walking distance of Ryerson. So just as Colleen and Debra said, there are amazing student groups that really help you realize what your degree is for. And it really makes you think about like, oh, okay, this is why I'm doing this, right? So now as a fourth year student, I know why I want to be in science. I want to make science accessible, right? And I wouldn't have realized that if I didn't, reach out to all these amazing student groups that are at Ryerson. And yeah, Ryerson's just an amazing location in downtown, and it has just so many opportunities all around it. And it's amazing the way that I was able to get involved. And I had a lot of trouble with communication. But I feel like over these 4 years, I've built so many amazing communication skills. Like just this summer, I was actually able to create a STEM curriculum for campers age 7 to 13 for Sci-Exchange. And I ran that all over Zoom. So it was like a virtual camp. And that really helped me with my, technical skills and along with my communication skills, right? So it's just that volunteering with Sci Exchange through the 3 years, it kind of built that up, and I was able to get an amazing on-campus job, right? So Ryerson has like this amazing career boost program where you can actually apply for on-campus jobs. And that was my first job at Ryerson, and it was really awesome. Like I learned a lot of communication skills. And right now I'm actually working with the Student Learning Center. Look, like as Debra was saying, like the 4th floor of the SLC, that's where I would have been if this wasn't a pandemic right now. But virtually, I'm actually running supported learning groups for first-year science courses, right? And that's all through the Career Boost program on campus. So Ryerson definitely has a lot of opportunities to get involved. And I wish I'd gotten involved earlier, but there's always opportunities no matter what year you're in. So really happy for that.
Great, thank you. And finally, Clyde, if you just go over activities you've been involved on campus and off of campus as well.
Okay, so in the last few years, I have to say I didn't get involved much on campus or off campus because I tried to focus more on school, and I sort of regret that because I wish I got involved more. So everyone who's going to come to Ryerson, please get involved as soon as possible. And however, like in the last year, so like in the 4th year, and even last year, I was a part of the Trimentoring Program at Ryerson, which is a program that they have mentors and mentees from first year that get matched. And you sort of have a mentor to guide you and to make your transition to university easier. And when I was in 1st and 2nd year, I was a mentee, and then I got mentored by like other students from the biomedical sciences program. And in the last few years, I've been a mentor. So that has been helpful. That has helped me sort of interact with other students and give them a perspective of how I've transitioned here. And also it has helped me a lot with my communication skills. I know that there are lots of student groups that you can find under RSU, as Colleen, Elene, and Debra said. And there's also the Sci Exchange where you can volunteer as well. I've mostly been more interested in the research area at Ryerson, so in terms of getting research experience rather than getting volunteering experience. So I can talk more on that later on if you want me to.
We'll cover that later for sure. Okay, thank you. So as you can see, there's a whole breadth of experiences that you can take advantage of when you're a Ryerson Science student. And it's really important, I think, to seek those out. But I guess, Colleen, I'll ask you, what advice would you have for a first-year student to get involved?
Thanks, Sola. So I would say the first step of any first-year science student would be to attend events so that are catered to first-year science students. So like science orientation and taking advantage of the first-year science office. They will be your first point to kind of introduce you to resources that we have that are available, connect you with upper-year science students, and then to get involved in social events like sporting events, come out to like community events, those kind of things. You'll make friends, you'll network, you'll make connections, and then you can join. Well, the first step is to know about these programs, and then, these student groups and these clubs and these activities. And so I think just putting yourself out there, stepping out of your comfort zone first, and gaining, putting yourself in a position to gain some knowledge about these resources would be your first step, and then definitely get involved.
Okay, great. Thank you. Debra, you have chosen to do the co-op option in computer science. And I know that many students have questions about that. We do offer co-op with every single science program as an option that's available. Can you just talk about your experience with co-op, how you got involved, maybe areas you've worked, that sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. So I remember, like, specifically, I guess I'll speak specifically to computer science, but like also in general. So like for computer science, I know like when you start off, so you usually start off in second year, and then from there, you then like you apply during your second year, and then you start, no, I think end of your first year you apply, and then you officially start working by, I think the summer of your second year, like when you're um, done your second year. And then from there, you then, yeah, so then you apply, there's a certain GPA requirement, and then you start working. So once you get your first one, so like I think generally with the co-op program, when you start, it's a bit tough to get your first job, because usually like you're coming out of high school and you might not have a whole lot of experience. But generally, like the first thing I would advise around that is just to like apply to as many places as you can, and like don't give up, because once you get that first one, it just makes it easier as you go like to your next work term. But generally, you do, I believe, about, is it 20 months of work term? So like you have a choice of how many months you want to do, but usually it ranges from like 4 months or to 16 months. And then you can split your work terms into like 4 months and just like work in different companies for those 4 months, or you could do 8 months. Or I know people who've done like a whole year in one company. So it's really up to you. Like if you do 4 months, then you can choose different roles, and you get like experience in a variety of roles. But if you choose like a long-term one, then you're looking more at establishing a good relationship and a good connection with the company, and like in that, and you also get a lot of experience in that role. So it really, yeah, it's up to you on how you want to do it, but generally that's how it usually goes. And as for my experience with it, I'm really glad that I chose the co-op program. I think starting off, that was partly like the main driver for why I chose Ryerson. And I'm really glad that I chose to do co-op. I think if anybody was asking, like, should I apply for the co-op program, I'd say go for it. And the places that I've worked, so I've worked in banks. When I started in a startup, and I did 4 months there. And then I did, I would say, I think yeah. So I did like 3-4 month more work terms in banks. Like Scotiabank and RBC, and I did a lot of like coding there, like development work. And then I ended off with one at a digital consultancy agency. And what I really enjoyed about it was that it's like, it's one thing to like learn all these stuff in classes and like do all these labs, but it's another thing to actually like get that hands-on learning like in the industry. Because I think like school only teaches you so much. I feel like school teaches you a lot about discipline and time management, things like that. But like the the real world, they sometimes, a lot of things change, like especially speaking from my experience with computer science. um, a lot of things change and technologies change, and companies adapt in different ways. So where you work, like you learn a lot about how they work depending on the role you're in. You also meet a lot of people in the industry. So like you meet a lot of smart people, and like from there you just really start to absorb a lot of information from them. And another thing I would advise, like once you get a new work term, is ask as many questions as you want. Don't be scared to ask questions, because that's what they're looking for, and that's the best way for you to learn. That's what really helped me during my time, and I got more and more comfortable as I asked more questions. Um, and yeah, and like you meet a lot of people, a lot of new people, and so depending on the company you work at, they also have some mentorship programs, so you can really like, you get that, apart from what the work you're doing, you also advance your learning by like asking, how can I improve in this area? You can get feedback from your supervisor as well. um, and yeah, and like it's also fun, it's like a way to kind of experience what the work life is like. So you, like with school, you're always doing work, but like when you're doing a work term, you focus on that work term. So like you can choose to do a course, but usually they don't recommend for you to do, like, if you're going to do a course, you can do one, but they recommend like you shouldn't do more than that, because they want you to really focus on your work term. And really just like, it's nice that you get to focus on it, and then you get to like just do stuff at work, and then after you can go home and like rest your head for the day. And yeah, it's just like I think it's a really good experience, and it really made me realize like, um, there's really nothing to fear. I think when it comes to like, job searching, or even like getting that first job, because like one thing that the co-op program does is that they really prepare you. So like, let's say if the next wave of like this recruitment cycle, so usually January is the time when companies start to recruit students. So then they'll tell you, okay, like you need to start preparing for interviews at this time. And they provide a lot of resources. So they do like mock interviews. They usually pair you with somebody at the beginning of your co-op, like the whole transitioning into co-op, and then they provide you with advice as to how to prepare for like job interviews. They are co-op students themselves, so they've already been through the whole process and give you a lot of quality advice that can really help you. um, and then there are a lot of things that you can take advantage of as well, like they provide you with tons of resources. um, and then that really just helps you transition and have a better idea as to what job searching is like. And then that way you're preparing your resume, you're preparing your cover letter, you're already getting interview practice. So then as you do more and more, you get stronger in them. And if you choose to work in the industry after school, you already have like tons of experience. And what's really nice is you can do like a maximum, so minimum 4 work terms, maximum 5. So if you choose to do 5, you're getting that extra experience. If you do 4, that's already also good as it is, because a lot of these companies look for students who have internship or co-op experience, and they want a lot of hands-on learning. So if you show that, if you being in the co-op program allows you to just do that over the years, and then once you get out of school, you already have an idea of what it is you want to do. You already have all these jobs that you've done that you can put on your resume, and it really even makes you more marketable for the industry, and also makes life easier for you full-time, like with full-time job search. Because personally right now I'm job searching, and I think having co-op has really helped me to know what to do and what not to do in an interview, know the questions to ask recruiters to really prepare myself for those interviews and actually like get myself to the next round. And like even having all those work terms on my resume, I think it makes it easier for me to land interviews. And like I don't know, that's just been my experience with it. And it's just, I think, made life a lot easier when it comes to securing full-time jobs. And one last thing to note is that like the co-op program, to admit, like it is competitive. There are a lot of people who are trying to get into it, but I think you shouldn't get discouraged by that. You should still try. And like, let's say, hopefully this doesn't happen, but worst case you don't get in, it's not the end of the world. Um, Keep in mind, like whatever your field is, it's always good to get hands-on learning regardless. So if you can get an internship or do any volunteering, whatever it is to get stuff, to get that experience on your resume, is like, I really recommend trying that out. And I know in tech, like they have a lot of internships available to students. So it's really then, I feel like at that point, it's more of you being the self-driver and you being more proactive and applying on time and things like that. You won't have those reminders like in co-op, but like just keep in mind like that experiential learning is definitely something you should go for,
Okay,
like throughout
great.
your years at school.
Okay, thank you, Debra. Clyde, I know that and you mentioned you're involved with research on campus. Can you just go over when you got interested in research and how you're involved?
So I started like working this summer on April on a COVID-19 related project under the supervision of Dr. Kremb. And so basically I worked at St. Michael's over the last 4 months. And so you can get involved. I don't know about like how this will apply like to other majors, but I know that in biology or biomedical sciences, you can start to get involved in research after your first year or after your second year. Ideally, I would suggest starting after the second year, because you sort of build like that fundamental knowledge that you can use to conduct research, especially in biology or biomedical sciences. Because like in first year, the the courses that you take or the knowledge that you get, it's pretty general, because it's like general biology, general chemistry, so you don't go into specifics. And when you get into biochemistry, genetics, molecular biology, that's where you can actually get a foundation of knowledge, and that's when you can actually apply it on research. I started doing research in third year, and now I feel like more confident, and this throughout my fourth year I plan to do my thesis project, which is like a research project that is supervised by a faculty member, and it's an independent project that you have to do research on your own. So come up with your own project and write your own methods and try things out, and then revise and get used to experiments that fail and things like that. But in terms of research, I would say start from second year up to your fourth. And so what you would do, or like the process to applying for a research position, is to check the faculty members of your faculty and look at their, they have, each of them have web pages for their labs. So go there, check if their research, if you're interested in their research or not. Read their publications, and if you're interested, then you can simply send them an email saying that you're interested in the research, and then provide, usually they ask for an official transcript from Ryerson, for a resume and for a cover letter. And then if they have positions available, then they will sort of invite you for an interview, and then they will decide if they want to take you in their labs or not. However, don't be discouraged, because there are lots of people applying to like these lab positions, and sometimes the number of the positions will depend on the number of the projects that are available. So just because you didn't get in, it doesn't mean that you won't get in another lab or in the future. It just, there are so many factors that affect it. And especially now during COVID-19, I'm not sure if you'll be able to work on site. So you'll probably do project remotely, so from home or online. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I think we're just gonna quickly, I'm going to just go back to the presentation screen, and okay. So I just wanted to talk about some other options that are also available on campus for gaining experience out of the classroom. We do have zone learning at Ryerson, and within the Faculty of Science at Ryerson, we also have the Science Discovery Zone. Essentially, it works as an incubator for startups. So if you have a really fantastic idea and you'd like to become an entrepreneur, the Science Discovery Zone will allow you to, you know, meet up with mentors from industry, as well as give you pointers for how to make that idea a reality. Even if you don't necessarily want to start your own business, but you want to be involved in that environment, there's lots of different opportunities for you to do so, whether it be through attending one of their events or volunteering on a different startup idea. And then also, oh, sorry. Another option that you have is the exchange program. Within the Faculty of Science, we do offer course-based international exchange opportunities with 10 different partners all over the world, and that number is increasing every year. So we do have, you can spend a semester or up to an entire year studying in a different country, and the beauty of the exchange program is that you pay Ryerson tuition and you just go and study in a different country without having to pay international student fees, and all of the courses that you take are applied to your degree. So it's a really great way to see the world and be involved while still completing your degree requirements. So I'd like to kind of just go over and start to close up the panel now. We'll start with Elene. Elene, and so this is going to be a question I'm going to ask everybody, but we'll start with you. What are your career or academic aspirations when you're finished?
So I'm actually thinking about taking a gap year so I can kind of get into the work field and use the experiences that all these volunteering experiences I've gathered at Ryerson to kind of work. And the end goal actually is to apply to professional degrees. And I haven't decided which one yet. So I know there's a lot that out there like pharmaceuticals and medicine. There's dentistry. So I'm actually taking that gap year to think about where I want to apply and hopefully finish one of those exams like the MCAT or the DAT. So that's basically my career aspirations.
Okay, perfect. Gerline, same question. Oh, I think you're muted.
Oops.
There you
So mine are similar to Elene. I'm finishing up my 5th year, so I'll be graduating next year. One of my end goals has been to work in the ER as a physician, and having volunteered in the ER for years, that has always been my end goal. But as I get more, like as I have gotten involved and things like COVID presenting new opportunities to me, and me just staying, and this just goes back to staying connected and growing as a person. I realized that I do want to join the workforce for a bit and do some work and then keep maybe a master's in translational medicine, a graduate project in mind. So I'm not sure what the short-term goals are, but yeah, my plan is to just after I graduate, sort of just keep in touch, keep involved, and then figure things out, and hopefully one day work in the ER. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Debra, what are your career or academic aspirations?
Yeah, for me, I guess like right now it'd be, or short term, it'd be just like getting a full-time job and kind of growing my skills in like I would say web development and also being stronger at UI UX design, because I've noticed like I'm starting to enjoy that as well. And then like on the long run, I aspire to kind of like start either my own organization or company. And just kind of, I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but entrepreneurship has been something that I guess Ryerson has exposed me to, and even being in co-op. So yeah, so I want to use that and yeah, eventually build my own company or organization.
Great. And Clyde, same question.
For me, I'm planning to take an extra semester after my 4th year because I still have to figure out what I really want to do. And after I finish my extra semester, I plan to work for 1 year in a lab, in a research lab. And after that, my plan is to either apply for a master's or a PhD program if I feel confident enough that I have enough research experience. So I'm more into like research rather than professional schools.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my plan.
Great, thank you. And we actually do have a question. So perhaps you guys can each give sort of one tip for this student. Question being asked is there any advice you can give to students who are nervous about the transition from high school to university? So Gerline, did you want to go?
Sure. I definitely relate to that. My transition from high school to university was very nerve-wracking, lots of anxiety. I was very nervous about what university life would be like, if I would be able to adjust, if I would get the support that I needed. And I would say what I didn't expect was like the amount of resources that university, especially at Ryerson, gives you right from the start. So I would say that just put yourself out there. And I know it's nervous. I know you're nervous and just it's really hard. But even if you just have those difficult conversations, like I remember going to Frosh, so stressed out, but I made the commute to Frosh week. I got put in a group. I had a Frosh leader. I still remember his name, Nick, and I still remember basically assaulting him with a stream of questions, anxiety-filled questions of like, am I gonna be okay? Like just feeling so alone, but just being there just helps you feel not alone, right? So I think the biggest realization that I had in my first year was that I definitely wasn't alone, and there's so many resources. University just gives you so many resources, but especially here at Ryerson, the tight-knit community that you'll get, and you definitely should take advantage. And so I would say that I relate to that. My transition definitely wasn't smooth sailing, and take it from someone that kind of refused to be okay, like refused to take other people's advice telling me that I'll be okay, that you will be okay. And yeah, I would say that even in being in Toronto, for me, I was determined not to like it for some reason. I don't know why. I was excited to come to Ryerson, but at the same time, I had a lot of anxiety in terms of like being in a big city. And so I would say that I was maybe sort of even inclined to say, no, I'm different. I won't be okay. Like that I won't like it. But and now I aspire to live downtown. I am in downtown. So take it from someone of me, there's a lot of nerves. University is caused a lot of change in people's lives, but it'll be for the best. And these are going to be like the best 4 years, basically, of your life, as they say.
Okay, thank you. Debra, same question. What would you say, what advice would you give for students who are nervous about their transition from high school to university?
Yeah, I would say like take a day at a time. I guess like it's easy to say for me, because it's like having gone through university, but I would say, yeah, just take a day at a time. And yeah, like Colleen mentioned, you will be okay. I think over time, like when you start, you initially feel like, oh, like you go to class and you don't know anyone, or like you just kind of overwhelmed the workload and everything. But yeah, I would also agree with the statement of like putting yourself out there. And I think that's just the best way to go about it, because like I think the best friendships that I've made are like from people that I just kind of like, I just sat down and I just kind of like looked at them, I just said hi, and then like we just started like kept talking, and I still know one of them, like I still hang out with her, and it's really interesting, like those kinds of friendships come to be. And I think like just be really open, and it's not everybody. Like also another thing is like you can't be friends with everybody, and don't try to please everybody. That's another thing. Just like be yourself, and like there'll be people who are willing to accept you for who you are, and those are the people that you're just gonna like journey in life with, and university with as well. Yeah,
great, thank you. And Elene, same question.
I'm gonna have to agree with Gerline and Debra that definitely putting yourself out there and trying to make friends. And during that first year, if you get involved, you will make friends easily. My first year, I didn't do that, and I was just, in my own shell. And comparing myself now to first year, because I'm more involved, I had a better university experience. So getting out there and putting yourself out there does have some kind of correlation, positive correlation with having a better university experience. And going along with what Debra said, taking it a week at a time is really important. Please make a calendar, okay? First year, I had no calendar. I was all over the place. But if you make a calendar, then what happens is you can literally see all your assignments laid out for you. And if you take it week by week, then you can know, oh, during the weekend, I should do this, right? This is my priority right now. And then when you're a little bit free, you can say, oh, I have an assignment due 2 weeks from now. Maybe I could just put ideas down, right? To get that stress off. So definitely Google Calendar will be your best friend. And Ryerson is actually associated with Google, and they put all your classes there. So just fit in those assignments and follow that schedule. And that definitely saves you. It saved me.
All right, that's a great tip for sure. And Clyde, same question.
So I would say I mean, the transition is not going to be easy. I mean, I had a hard transition coming from another country here, and I would say just try it and give your best, and try to make as many friends as possible. So talk to them, don't be shy. And another tip is to, I know it's going to be kind of nerve wracking and you're going to be nervous because the workload is going to be hard. However, please take time for yourself and for your mental health because that's what matters most. That's my tip for everyone. So just try your best. And if things work out, then yeah, they will. If not, then there will be something else that will work out for you. So don't stress. Just see it as a self-discovery journey and see
Okay,
it from personal growth point of view. That's what I
great.
would say. Yeah.
Okay, so thanks very much for all my student panelists. I think you've all provided some really great information as well. So that's sort of the end of our formal presentation. We do have, you can still answer questions for the few minutes that we have left, but I will go ahead and pass this off to Ashlyn now. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you can join us in September on campus.
Thank you, Salwa, and thank you so much to everyone who presented today. Not only Salwa, but all of the students who have joined us today. That was a really informative session, and I know we answered so many questions, so thank you very much. We are going to shut down our video and our audio, meaning you won't be able to see or hear us, but we do have about 3 more minutes before the hour is up, so we will be answering questions, so feel free to submit any last-minute questions. Also, please note that although we are posting these recordings of all our virtual open house sessions on our website later in October, the Q&A will not be a part of that. So if you received an answer today, please make note of it so that you can save it for yourself. We are hosting a few more sessions to finish off the week, both Thursday and tomorrow and Friday. So please make sure to register for any that you are interested in. We are also going to be having open house sessions on the week of November 9th and November 16th, which will feature program-specific sessions for each of our undergraduate programs. So we hope to see you there. On behalf of Ryerson University, thank you once again for joining us today, and we hope to see you in one of our other sessions this week. Have a great day, everyone.